there is this metric called the Gini coefficient in economics. It measures the skew in wealth distribution. Typically across the world, the top 2 to 3% people have 90 to 95% or even more of the wealth. Why does a person need to accumulate so much wealth? Because he does not know what to do in life. And when such a thing happens, then you start talking of redistribution and such things. No, redistribution is not the answer. The answer is education. You have to educate those who indulged in accumulation. Had those people been spiritually educated in the first place, accumulation would have not happened at all. But instead of addressing the root cause, what you are saying is, we'll take money from those people and distribute it to the poor, or we'll generate money in some way and, we'll borrow from overseas donors or from the central bank, and will put cash in the hands of the poor, without firstly understanding why the poor are poor and why so much money has been hoarded by just a few people. You do not want to address that faulty human tendency. Address that tendency, and so much else that you are forced to do today will not be needed anymore. The world over, we have been crying aloud, let's remove poverty, let's get rid of poverty, such things. What has happened? On an average, yes, the world is today more prosperous than it ever was in its history. But at the same time, the gap between the rich and the poor has immensely widened. And so, relative poverty today is as deep as it ever was. In an absolute sense, on a per capita basis, people today have more money compared to their fathers or grandfathers. So that is good. But then people live in their minds, and the mind lives in comparison. In a relative sense, probably even those who are in the middle class today are poorer than what they were 100 years back, in spite of having more money. Because the upper classes have just moved into stratospheric economic zones. Are you getting it? So tell me, have we been able to really get rid of poverty? And the process is only accelerating. Each passing day, more and more money is getting concentrated in fewer and fewer hands. Why can't we address the root cause? Why can't we address that hollow in man's being which he tries to desperately fill with money and keeps failing? And the more he fails, the harder he tries, the more he accumulates. Hmm? Money can buy you stuff. Money cannot tell you what to buy. No? And that's the entire thing. There is so much you can have with money. But not even all the money in the world will be able to tell you what to do with that money. That wisdom can come only from spirituality. Only spirituality can tell you to what extent money is useful to you and what is it that money cannot fetch you. When you know what it is that money cannot fetch you, then you do not indulge in money beyond a point. Now you know that money is useful to this extent, so you must have this much money. And beyond this point, money is anyway not going to help. So there is no point making efforts to have money beyond this point. Beyond this point, something else helps. I'll go after that. All the economic theories, all the economic systems are predicated on this premise, based on this assumption that the goal of man's action is to have more money. This they call as welfare. Or even luxury. In some theories they say maximization of luxury is the objective of man's efforts. But even this luxury that they are talking of is just money, material things. So all the economics that we see is inherently faulty because it assumes that all that man wants is material comforts. No economic theory takes into account that what man really wants is liberation. Not monetization.